real men fight. Real men acknowledge, accept, and develop their violent nature. Real men prepare their bodies physically for the rigors of real combat. Real men learn and develop the strategies and the techniques necessary to survive in real combat. And real men are willing to throw the fuck down at the drop of a hat. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say that's toxic masculinity. And I'm going to counter by saying what you're saying is toxic liberalism, toxic feminism. Because the fact of the matter is, there is a lot of violence going on against women. And the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of guys, so-called men, who aren't doing shit. Now, to illustrate my point, I'm going to give you a couple examples from my personal life, people I know, and I'm going to give you some examples that anyone who has access to social media is aware of. A while ago, I posted something about how I had almost been in 4 fights in 3 days. And of course, someone comes along and says, well, I just avoid fights. That's great that you avoid fights. Let's talk about why I almost got in 4 fights in 3 days. The first one is my girlfriend and I were walking around after dinner downtown where we live, and I saw off to the side a little blonde woman with her back to a wall and a big guy with like a linebacker, football linebacker build, kind of like opening up, bucking up, as they say, towards her while she has her back against the wall. And working as a bouncer for so many years, it was immediately clear to me that he was certainly drunk. They were in some sort of relationship, perhaps married, and he was acting in a potentially threatening way towards her. So all I did is I'm walking, I told my girlfriend, I'm like, let's stop here for a second. And she's like, what's going on? I was like, I just want to see what's going on here. And I kind of looked for a little bit, and then he kind of like, turned away, and I could tell that he was like angry, but he wasn't going to be violent. So I'm like, okay, let's go. Make no mistake, I would have gone over there and thrown the motherfuck down if it started to look like he was about to hit her. Another day, okay, one day later, I'm walking back from the gym. It's in the morning, so it was maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm done with my morning workout, and I saw a guy being mean to his dog, okay? He wasn't exactly beating his dog, but he was being like very rough, very mean to his dog. And I stopped there for a second. I just kind of stared at him, and then he saw me staring at him, and we had a little conversation. And at one point, he even started to stand up. He was sitting on a park bench. He started to stand up and take off his glasses. I'm like, oh, so I don't like the way you're treating your dog. You want to throw the fuck down? And he kind of put his glasses back. He's like, no. Once again, if he had gotten up to physically defend his, quote, right to treat his dog improperly, I would have thrown the motherfuck down immediately, no hesitation. I'm walking back from the gym one day later. It's in the afternoon this time. I had just done my cardio workout, and there was a guy literally chasing a guy down the street with a stick, okay? If 2 guys are fighting and they just want to fight, once again, being a bouncer, I know some guys just want to fight, and I'm not going to get involved. But this was a guy walking backwards down the street, and the other guy was walking him down, as they say, with a big stick, like a Robin Hood quarterstaff in his hand, okay? Apparently, there's a construction site where I live. There are some vagrants living there, and one of them was going to beat the shit out of the other one with a stick, and I got in between that. Why? First of all, I don't want to see someone get beaten to death with a stick. Second, my woman walks our dog there, and we don't exactly have a pit bull. We have a little Shih Tzu. I don't want either one of them to be chased around by a vagrant with a fucking stick. The guy wisely did not attack me. The guy wisely walked away. But once again, I was perfectly willing to throw the motherfuck down. So if you think it's virtue signaling to see a guy who you think is going to beat his wife, this giant football linebacker guy and this tiny little blonde chick, and you're going to look the other way and say that you're a bigger man because you avoided a fight, you're a fucking piece of shit. If you think that you're going to walk past someone being mean to his dog and not even say anything, and that you're the big man because you avoided the fight, you're a fucking piece of shit. If you're going to watch a man get beaten to death and not do anything and say that you're on the moral high ground because you avoided a fight, you're a fucking piece of shit. And you are certainly not a man. People say, oh, pronouns. I'm a conservative Republican and I am all for pronouns, because if you're going to let someone else get beaten to death and call it virtue signaling, you should change your pronouns to this, that pussy, because you don't deserve to be called he, him anymore. I knew a girl when I was living in Germany who had a problem with her husband. And at one point she actually ran out and got into her car and closed the door and locked it. And he was chasing her. And he started kicking the car, he started hitting the car, he started jumping up and down on the car. And nobody did shit. I'm going to tell you something. After she, of course, left this guy, she ended up moving somewhere where there are a lot of Russian immigrants. And she said to me, you know what? You can say what you want about the Russians, but I'm going to tell you one thing. If that guy did that around my Russian neighbors, I have no doubt they would all have come down and beat the shit out of him. But her virtue signaling, righteous ass, morally elite German neighbors didn't do a goddamn thing. And like I said, this is very important right now because anyone with access to social media realizes that a bitch was lit on fire in a subway and no one did shit. A bitch was stabbed in the neck. No one did shit. I heard someone else was lit on fire. No one did shit. How about this as a blast from the past? Remember when Black Lives Matter was way up there and everybody was cheering it on, and a black man beat up an old Asian lady right outside of her apartment building? There are videos of people inside the apartment looking, quote men, quote security personnel, watching her get punched 125 times by a very large man right outside of her apartment. They obviously knew her if they do security in her apartment, and they did not do shit. So when I say developing the capacity, the capability to be violent is a major, important part of being a man, you have absolutely positively no way that you're going to convince me that I'm wrong. We live in a world with dangerous, bad men. And the only thing that will protect the innocent from a dangerous, bad man is a dangerous, good man. And if you have a family or want to have a family and you are not constantly working on your capacity for violence, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself.